The lesson of Kisa Gotami, when impermanence becomes the gateway to awakening. In the long history of Buddhism, there are stories that go beyond the life of one individual and become timeless mirrors for countless generations. One of those is the story of Kisa Gotami, a mother who walked through the unbearable pain of losing her child, and from that wound discovered the path to liberation. Kisa Gotami was an ordinary woman. Her heart overflowed with joy when she became a mother. Her first child was not just a tiny being, but her whole world, her hope, her heartbeat outside her chest. The bond of motherhood wrapped her in warmth, filling every corner of her life with light. But impermanence spares no one. When her baby was still an infant, illness struck and claimed his life. The child breathed his last in his mother's arms. For Gotami, the world collapsed. She clung to her lifeless child, weeping until no tears were left, refusing to accept the truth of death. Family and neighbors watched helplessly. They knew that death is irreversible, yet her grief was so raw that no words of comfort could reach her. In her desperation, she went from house to house, begging for a cure that could restore her son's life. Someone finally told her, "Only the Buddha can help you. Go to him." Clutching her child's body, Gotami ran to the Buddha. Through her sobs, she pleaded, "Lord, please bring my son back to life. I cannot bear to live without him." The Buddha looked at her with boundless compassion. He did not reject her plea, nor did he lecture with lofty doctrine. Instead, he gave her a simple instruction: "Go into the city and bring me a mustard seed. But it must come from a house where no one has ever died." To Gotami, the task seemed possible. Mustard seeds were common in every home. Hope flared again in her heart. "Just one mustard seed, and my son will live." She hurried into the city, knocking on doors. At the first house, the family gladly offered mustard seeds. But when she asked, "Has anyone died in this house?" they replied, "Yes, our parents passed away." Gotami walked away in silence. At the second house, the third, she heard the same. A brother died. A child died. A grandparent passed away. House after house, street after street, village after village. Everywhere she went, she received mustard seeds, but also the same truth. Every family had faced death. As the sun began to set, her body weakened from exhaustion. She sank down by the roadside, still holding her child. By then, something within her shifted. She realized she had not found a single home untouched by death. In that quiet moment, she understood. Her grief was not hers alone. All beings, rich or poor, young or old, are subject to birth, aging, sickness, and death. Impermanence spares no one. Tears still fell, but no longer out of blind despair. They flowed with release, with surrender. She carried her son's body to the forest, gently placed him beneath a tree, and whispered, "Go, my child. I will not cling to you anymore. Your death has taught me the greatest lesson." When Gotami returned to the Buddha, she was changed. Her eyes were swollen from crying, but her gaze had grown calm. Kneeling before him, she said, "Lord, I searched everywhere for a mustard seed, but found no house untouched by death. I see now. Death does not come only to me. It is the common fate of all. Birth and death are unchanging truths." The Buddha smiled with compassion and replied, Gotami, life is like bubbles on water, like a lightning flash. The ignorant believe they can hold on forever, but wisdom sees that nothing endures. When you see impermanence clearly, grief loses its power. Instead of clinging, walk the path beyond birth and death. From that day, Kisa Gotami entered the monastic life. Through years of practice, she attained liberation and no longer feared death. Her story became a living teaching of impermanence, echoing through the centuries. Reflections. The story of Kisa Gotami is not just about one mother's grief. It is a profound reminder of impermanence. The Buddha did not comfort her with abstract words. Instead, he guided her to see reality for herself. No family is free from death. That direct realization was the seed of her awakening. The mustard seed, so small, so ordinary, became the key that opened her eyes to truth. Through this simple yet skillful means, the Buddha turned personal pain into universal wisdom. Only when we accept impermanence can we truly begin to live. Today, we are not so different from Gotami. We love, we cling, we fear losing what we cherish. But one day, we too must face loss. Death will touch everything we hold dear. So what can we do? The lesson of Gotami is not despair, nor denial. It is to let go, to live fully in each moment, and to use impermanence as a bell of mindfulness. When we see death as tragedy alone, we live in fear. But when we recognize it as part of nature, we live with depth. Every breath, every glance, every word becomes precious, because we know it cannot last. It is precisely impermanence that makes life so meaningful. A gentle reminder. Kisa Gotami traded her deepest sorrow for the seed of awakening. Her story is not just from the past. It speaks to us today. When you face loss, remember, you are not alone. When you grieve death, remember, it is the destiny of all beings. And when you release your grip, freedom begins to open. Impermanence is not an enemy. It is the gateway to wisdom and peace. Like Gotami, if we open our hearts to the lessons hidden in pain, suffering itself can become the seed of enlightenment.